Call the meeting to order. Library Board meeting agenda, September 9th, 2019 at 5 o'clock. We have a proper quorum. Quorum has been determined. Read your old minutes from the last meetings. And I would like to see if we can get an approval for the minutes for our regular meeting held on July 8th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes for July 8th, 2019 are accepted. I'll turn over the agenda process to Donna, the Director of the Library.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. Our order of business tonight to first start off is our library card applications, camera, and signature pad. And we have some exciting news that I'm going to turn to Glenn and let him update you on.
We have put those in, tested them, and they're working great.
Excellent.
From what we did 3 cards today of just the staff as just a test to, see if it would work continuously, and it worked great. So I think we're ready to go on that, and I think we'll, on down in the agenda, there's another item where we'll probably get all of us to get our cards together and get that, get a real life test for the staff to do.
Okay. We want to make sure that Ann is there.
Yes.
Or if we want to take our own and just send them to her, that'll be fine. But
Okay.
somebody with a camera or ability to.
I'll check with Ann to see if she could come over, because it would be a nice little press release to go out along with the pictures. Our next item is the Jeopardy event. And again, Glenn has a little bit of an update on this one.
Yeah, I found it's a PowerPoint template that is fully programmed and responsive, and it's got the sounds and everything on it, where you just basically type in the questions and bring up the PowerPoint, and it operates like a Jeopardy board. So I've played around with it just a little bit at home, and I think what I'd like to do for the next item here about the workshop, maybe bring that to the workshop and put it up on the projector there in the meeting room so we can all see it. And if you say you have some questions, we can actually use those if you want to, as long as we don't put them out in public so nobody can cheat. Or we can make up our own questions or do whatever, but we can do a little game ourselves and just see how well it works.
One of the things as the time goes by on it, I keep thinking of different stuff that we could do. The questions would be great, but I would also like to propose that we have a lot of things about Laverne. Laverne's actually on television as with Lake Forest being the largest subdivision in the state, and just little bitty things about how during the war when the troops came through, just little bitty things about Laverne, and definitely just talk about some of the people of Laverne and some of the history that it's had would be some good questions. Or maybe we can even modify it and say these are bonus questions for if the kids get too far behind, we'll give you get a bonus questions to try to get
right.
Just whatever we decide. We'll talk about it at the workshop.
I like that. I think that really makes it more our own and something that...
Yeah, and also
belongs
it sort of helps with the copyright infringement.
Absolutely.
So we don't want to get too far into that. So we'll say the Laverne Jeopardy or whatever, but we don't want to get too far into that.
We can do state questions.
Yeah,
Tennessee questions.
Yeah, any state of Tennessee and Laverne. Yeah. I mean, it came to me the other day when I was sitting there at Mayor Puckett's. And I was thinking, well, that's a history book right there, because I remember sitting talking with him, and the man was just as sharp as a tack. He was telling me stuff, that was happening around here and where people lived in 1925, and I just nodded because I couldn't I couldn't dispute it. So we'll just go with whatever you say.
Okay, our next item is the Library Board Workshop. I've spoken with Chairman Jones, and we would like to set a date for a workshop over at the library. And it sounds like as we're adding more things, it may be something if we can come up with a date where we may have about 2 hours, and I'll be happy to provide some nourishment for you at that time. Because it sounds like we've got several things we would like to discuss, and we don't really have an opportunity to talk a whole lot together. So I think that would be great. So after we kind of go through these items, maybe let's start thinking about a date for the workshop. And we would do it at the Laverne Library because one of the things that we would like to do, the board members will be the first patrons to update their library card with a photo on their account and sign the application electronically. And let me tell you, through our trial run, it's really exciting. And I'm going to delete the 3 or 4 that we did today so that you all will be our first ones. But we wanted to make sure it was working. And when we go to check out, we take their card, we scan it in, up pops their name, up pops their picture, so we know exactly who's in front of us. We'll be able to use these so much for our young adults who may be there by themselves and not have a school ID or maybe not or forgot their library card. And this way, if they can give us a little information, their name and address, we can type it in and we'll see their picture and know that that's who they are. So very, very excited about this, and thank you, Glenn and Jackie, for your hard work. Another item that I would like to discuss at our workshop is updating the meeting room policy. If you will look through the papers, I think it's the last page that I gave you. This was from the updated 2013. That's the last year that our policy book was updated. And meeting rooms are not available to the public. Meeting rooms will only be used for library-run or library-sponsored programs. And you know that that's not what's happening right now. We have really opened up to the public. We've had a great response. We do not rent the rooms. I know at one time there was a charge attached to it, but we do not do that. And we try to make it nonprofit, library-sponsored, or something very community-oriented. This year I have a set of Girl Scout leaders that are meeting once a month, Boy Scout leaders meeting once a month, and I actually have a Girl Scout troop that's meeting the first and third Tuesday because I believe some policies had changed in the schools where they used to meet, and they were unable to pay the amount for that. And the Girl Scouts, for using our room, they're going to do several service projects for us, which is a win-win situation there. But one thing I would like to get is a good, solid policy because I have a lot of HOAs that are wanting to meet there. And it started out with the Cottages of Laverne, and they were right behind the library. I could see how that would be useful. And then I think the word got around that we had a really, really good meeting room, and there was no charge. And so I've had several HOAs close by to want to get in, but now it's to the point where there's like 5 or 6, and it's hard to meet their needs along with the needs that we need for the library programs and for our adult education programs. And we're only open until 8 on 3 nights, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I've pulled up some different policies that I will send to you all. I didn't get them together. And then I've made one tentatively that I think may work, but I definitely want your input. So this is a subject we'll probably talk about quite a bit, but I will give you more information via email before we have the workshop. Any questions about that? Some other entities that have been meeting, I wanted to let you all know. I mean, this is great. This is what we're there for. We're there for the community. So in August and again in September, Operation Hope. And that is a group that's helping people who are trying to get their credit back on in good standing, how to manage their money. Last month we had 5 people attend, and it's through, I believe it's First Tennessee Bank or Regions Bank. I apologize for not remembering which one. But they send a speaker and talk about it, and so that's a very good thing. That's what we want to do. And then they can come out, and we have several books. There's the Dave Ramsey book that they can check out. There's other money management books. So I feel like it's a win-win. Other things that we're using it for, surge staffing. They have reserved some of the computers in our computer lab, and they've had people come up and apply for jobs. We'll let them know what day that they're going to be there, and they actually can go on right there with surge staffing, do applications, and apply for a job. They've even interviewed a couple of people in the teen room, and that's worked well. Motlow used our room for training of new teachers. This month, tentatively, we have the IC Corporation that's going to be here on this coming Friday. They're going to do a community greet. Everything's still not set in stone, but they're wanting to get there so that people can meet them and know who they are. Other things. That's generally several HOAs. And then, of course, we have our jazzercise, our strings and things, our crochet creations, our yarn spinners, creative space, painting class, and then our children's groups also. Those were all adult groups. So very busy, and we want to use the rooms. We definitely do, but I would like to have a policy in place so that I can, if someone, I've had several people call, want to do birthday parties and things like that, and I said, I'm sorry, that we cannot do. And that's easy, I know that part, but sometimes there's a gray line, and I just need to have a little help in writing out a policy. Any questions? Okay. The next item, discussion of a circulation supervisor position. As most of you know, Debbie McClendon, who was our assistant director and circulation supervisor, was offered a job at Roy Waldron School as the school librarian, and she got the call one day that you're hired, and the next day she was gone. So Debbie is now at Roy Waldron. So we do not have an assistant director, which is working out okay, but I really need a circulation supervisor. And I feel that position will work very well. Lorna, in our children's department, is pretty much second in command. If I'm not there, she's the go-to person. And until we had the assistant director, that's the way it always was. Lorna still would be the go-to person, and the circulation supervisor would really take a very, very active role in being out on the main floor, helping our staff with issues that may arise, making sure that they're all on task, finding things to do, because we either have feast or famine. We're overrun with people or we're all standing around. And so, but there are always things to do in the library. Sometimes you just need direction. And that's where that circulation supervisor would come in and do a great job. So I am also gathering some different criteria for the circulation supervisor, and I will also email that to you, and I'd like for you all to be thinking about your feelings on going from the assistant director / circulation supervisor to circulation supervisor. Okay, the next discussion that we would want to do at the workshop is unattended children in the library. If you will look at this page with a tiny print, this is the page that was in our policy manual for 2013. A lot of information in there. Some, I think, needs to be reworded, taken out if things have changed. The second one that you see is the one that I'm going by at this time. A little bit of something that, I apologize. something that our staff can have their hands on. Still would like to take a very close look at this and have some good direction on our unattended children. We have several children who did come over to the library by themselves from our close-by weekly rentals, and it can be kind of scary. We've had a couple of 3-year-olds come over, and, I've walked them back home. And it was very fortunate that I knew the family and knew where they had come from. So we need to have just some really good policies so that when I do have to walk a child back home, I can take this paper and say, this is our policy, this is what we need to follow, and this is why, in order to keep your child safe. And anything else that you all in your research can find, I've been looking at different libraries to see what kind of policies they have, and it runs the whole gamut from, no one under the age of 16 can be in the library by themselves, to any child can be left up to 4 hours by themselves. So I would just like to get a really firm grip on that. Any questions on that one? Okay, our next item is our Old Timers Festival. That's coming up, fast and furious. This year, I have asked David if he would order us a 20 by 30 tent. Once upon a time, we had that, and it was awesome to have that big tent. Recently, we've had to bring our 10 by 10s and try to put them together, and we are all hodgepodged in there. So we will have a 20 by 30 tent. And, of course, the theme this year I love, a look back in time. And that is right up the alley for the library. So what we're going to do, we're getting away from all children's activities this year. We will, of course, will have a few little activities for our children to do, but that's mostly what the library has been associated with. We were the hula hoop, chalk drawing, ball hitting people. This year we're going to be a little bit more grown up. And we're going to display some history and people of Laverne through pictures and articles. As you all know, Mr. A.C. Puckett has passed away, and what a great man he was to our city, and will always be remembered for that. About 2 months ago, his sons came up to the library, and they donated the big binders that Miss Margie Murphy had made for him. Now, Miss Margie was wonderful. She always made binders for us, but they were smaller binders, and we would index them. These are 3 fabulous, packed full binders, all indexed, starting with the Civil War era. Whoa. So it's so great that the sons gave that to the library. We're going to take really good care of it and get that information out to people. So some of those are the pictures and articles that we are going to enlarge to display around in the tent. I want to have tables set out with chairs and a few of our binders. I'm not going to bring Mr. A.C. Puckett's binders, but our binders out for people to look through and reminisce and scan through the history. And then on top of that, the staff is going to be wearing various clothing styles throughout the eras, all the way from Civil War until today. And I think that will add a little bit of interest to our tent. And then for music, we had dulcimer classes over at the library, and the teacher has very kindly said he would love to come and play the dulcimer. He'd bring some of his students from the class, and also his mother plays dulcimer. And so they're going to be there, so we will have an area in our nice big tent that we can have our dulcimer players, and we'll have some chairs set there so people can get out of the hot sun or the rain, but it's not going to rain, and sit and listen to the music of the dulcimers, which will bring back a lot of good memories. So that's what we're looking for at the Old Timers Festival. Any questions on that?
Okay. Well, with that being said, next board meeting is going to be on Monday, December 9th at 5 p.m. And we're opening the floor to board members' comments. Let's start to the left.
Well, this has nothing to do with the library, but I hope that with everything that's been going on, I tried to get a hold of Felicia or Kathy today to make sure there's still a spot for me to set up and have time to stay. And I guess they were both busy, but I'm hoping I can get in there this year. And at the same time, if you need help with the tent, I'm going to have backup if need. So we're going to do this all across the
I appreciate that.
helping there, hopefully.
Thank
if
you.
I don't get a tent set up, I'll be ready to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't really have anything to say other than keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great, fabulous.
Thank
Sounds like
you.
some good stuff.
And I'm going to jump in real quick. Our staff is truly amazing, and we just had a fantastic book sale. Haven't count the rest of the money, but as of last Friday, about 7 days ago, it was $868. So, and we've made quite a bit more since then, and that's quarter and 50 cent in it. So, very pleased. Thank you to our community that came out and bought and bought and bought. It was wonderful. And then we actually had some of the books that they bought donated back to us today. So we do a lot of recycling. Thank you, Gary.
I really don't have a lot to say either, other than, you do a fantastic job in the community, at the library, and you're always so happy and ready to jump in there and just get it done. And we appreciate that.
Thank
It makes
you.
this so easy.
Appreciate that very much.
Just want to encourage all the parents to remember to read 20 minutes a day.
Absolutely.
I just want to say that I was part of that book sale, and I did the bag where you put the,
Yes.
and I have a lot of audiobooks that I'm ready to listen to, so I'm just excited. And I shared them with Kamisha. I think she's going to try to read a few too, but yeah, I'm
So
excited.
that's who got all my audio.
That's where your audiobooks went.
Well, I got quite a few too.
I want some more, so if we have some more.
I'll swap you. I'll swap you some.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
That's what I was going to ask was, how many, did you have a lot of people take you up on your offer from the board meeting to fill the bag?
No. I was trying to think. I know Mayor took the bag, and he may have come in when I wasn't there. But no.
Well, then we need to, you still got bags?
I still have bags, and I still have books out on the table, except they're in boxes, but they're open. We were still letting people go through them, and I still have audios in there also.
I was over there today. There's so
I'm
many.
on my way.
Yes, quite a few.
Is Icy bringing free ices to their?
That would be awesome. I am not sure. Ann is supposed to let me know. I think we are meeting with them tomorrow at 1 at the library to look at setup, where we're going to be, and I'll just ask and see.
Thanks. That's all I have.
All righty. I would like to say I think everyone's doing a good job, and I think it goes without saying that Donna is doing a wonderful job. Donna is a type person. During my little hiatus from work, when I get any free time, I'd run over there, and I know no matter how much I was in discomfort or whatever came up, I could go talk to Donna. And for some reason, you come out of there feeling better. you talk to her, and you come out feeling a whole lot better, and it's still legal for you to drive. So
That's a huge compliment. I appreciate that.
She's a wonderful person. She's a wonderful person. I am so blessed that I was awarded this committee, and I think that we can all make it work, and I think it's going to be getting even better.
Absolutely. Do we want to go ahead and try to set a tentative date for the workshop?
If you don't mind, if everybody could just.
And then I would need to run that by Bruce.
Yeah.
But if I could give him a couple of dates, that would be great.
Do we want to narrow it down to a month?
Yeah, next week, is out completely.
Right.
Okay. So are we looking at October?
Let's go to
Let's
October. That'll give me
let's look at
time to get more of
October.
the information
After
together.
Old-timers and everything.
Right, after Old Timers Day, and my husband is having surgery on the 4th, He will soon be seeing one again instead of double, so we're
Yay.
excited about that. Is a Monday evening still good?
Works for me.
And I need to talk to Bruce what other meetings are going on, but of course we won't be in here. And Jerry, the workshops are not taped, correct?
Unless you want them to.
Okay. Yeah, I think this way we can just have some good open discussion,
Of October.
if that's okay, right? Doesn't have to be taped?
So this is just a workshop meeting for the library board?
A workshop
I'll check
of the
into that.
library
I'll get
board.
with Jerry later about that.
Okay. Okay. So we're looking at,
Monday, October.
Can we do it another 5 o'clock on the 14th?
Is that okay?
That would be fine.
That's a Monday, 14th of October? Sound like we got a date.
It's good to me.
okay? So Monday, October 14th, and if I could have just a second date in case that one,
Do you want to go up a month, or you want to stay in October? How do you want to do it?
if we could stay in October, that way we'll have it pretty close
I
by.
almost made it through the meeting. I'm sorry to butt in here, but I just want y'all to know, I had a little procedure done today, and my family members are calling, so if I don't answer it, you might have police
Right.
going over to the house to check and see or whatever. So I never come up here with my phone on, but I do apologize. This is sort of they have to know because they're pretty quick to dial that police department. I remember once when my daughter, she was only 8, and she had called me, and I don't know what I was doing that day, but somehow my phone had went down. I did not have any power on my phone, and I pull up to my apartment when I was living in Nashville, and there were 2 Metro officers standing up there.
No.
Because I had always told her whenever she calls, I'll answer the phone,
Right.
or I'm not able to answer it. So I had to quickly modify that and tell her, give me a little bit more time, and then I'll get to the phone. But I apologize for that, everyone. So do we have a second date in October?
And if not, I can run this one by Bruce, and then get back if this one is
It's
not.
basically a 2-week. We can notify everyone within a 2-week period. So if we don't, then we'll get. If the 14th does not go through, then we'll get an alternate date within. That'll be 2 weeks after.
Just let you know, the Parks and Rec is on the 21st, if it affects it or not. There is a meeting at night here.
No, we're in the. This is library.
She's asking if you're in there other meetings that night.
Right. That maybe someone is on another
Anybody
board.
on
Is
Parks
it
and Rec? or
anybody on
Greenway?
Parks and Rec?
Greenway's also that night if they
Greenway?
have it.
Okay.
Greenway's not in
It's what?
that. It is.
Yeah, it's usually, they're back to back usually,
When they say the 28th?
21st.
Oh, the 20, I'm saying, do you want to do the second one for the 28th?
Let me, I'll just go ahead, since the 14th seems to be good for everyone here. Let me talk to Bruce about that tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure that will work, but I will let you all know.
Can anybody come a little bit earlier, or is 5 o'clock better?
I mean, I'm retired, I don't care.
What about you, Gary? I can be here at 4, but can you?
I could be, yeah.
And-
Sharon,
I'll be here, so that's fine.
can you? I know you work as well.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
At
Okay.
4 or 5?
Let's go for 4. That would be great. That way we won't be there so late,
Right.
and get a little bit earlier start. And like I said, I will provide some nutrition for you, and that would be great. And we'll just meet at the library. When you come in, come on down to meeting room 2. We'll start there, and then we'll go out to our reference desk to have our pictures made and do our electronic signature.
Yeah, but make sure you
Make sure I'm jazzy.
dress the part.
Ms. Donna, can I
Yes.
have one more comment?
Sure.
At the next meeting, can we get the summer library numbers?
Yes, and I apologize, I did that last month, or last meeting.
Oh, you did? In July?
Yes, and
Halfway
is it,
through.
I thought they were in the minutes.
Okay.
Let me check, but I will be happy
Did that give us
to.
the end of the
Yes,
totals?
because
Okay. They're
pretty
already signed up by
sure
then?
it may not be in there, but I'll be happy to get
They
those
didn't
to
change
you.
that much
Right.
from the beginning of July to the end?
A little bit. There were a few more.
Okay. And then
But I
one,
will definitely get those to you.
one other comment on these
Sure.
book sales. Are you selling Imagination Library books?
No,
Okay,
those are not allowed to be sold.
great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other?
I was gonna say, but we still can come do the bag. Do the bag with the books.
Yes,
Okay.
or whatever you would like to donate at this point. We'll take a quarter for a bag of books.
Oh, don't say that now.
Good.
I'll give it that one.
And just to go ahead and talk about the books from birth, we do get a lot of those donated back to us. We save those. We take the tags off and we save them. And then like at Christmas time or any events, we put those out for free and the children can pick up a book.
I know that was a big news article, I think last month or a couple of months back, where some people were selling them, even though
Right.
it says not to do it.
Oh, gosh.
Right. No, we've known not to sell those books, and I'm proud to say that I was on the startup crew for the books from birth in Murfreesboro. It was very, very nice to be there when we first started up, and of course now it's gone to United Way. But at first it was just volunteers throughout the different counties, and it's such a great program. I'm glad to see it continue to grow.
If you have any of the children's books left over after the sale,
Mm-hmm.
could you put those in your Old Timers Festival tent and give them to the children?
Sure, that would be great. At this point, I think we have 2 or 3 books left of children's. We were really wiped out with those. But we'll be getting donations now again, and so if we have any children's donations, we definitely will bring them.
Last thing I got was children's books.
Right. I know last year when we did the scavenger hunt and they got to pick a book, they loved it. So we will definitely add something like that in.
I might donate some of mine back to you.
Are there any other comments? Again, I'd like to say thank you for everything you do and everything you've done.
Thank you.
For the library and the city. And
I
this board.
appreciate that.
With that being said, this meeting is adjourned.
Awesome.